Okay, so when we left it last, you were still in the Bronze Shrine because Earl was getting quite a large back tattoo done, and you were heading back off to Leilon. Now, how are you going to arrange? Because you'd asked the dragon to come along and help, and so what kind of signal are you going to have? Are you just going to have the dragon randomly fly over town every few hours to?
No, the dragon will know when the best time to arrive is, obviously.
How will they know the best time to arrive?
Oh, him. Sorry, I was thinking her.
No, it was the bronze dragon that you'd asked to.
They're all very confusing. When the shit hits the fan.
How far away, remind me, was the bronze dragon's gaff?
Around 15 miles. And I meant to check up to see if he could.
Big dragon.
From Leilon, if we go to the Sword Coast map.
Because I was going to say, if you were stuck, you could have put a small gnome on a fast horse and said, 5, but no, that's not going to work.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30 mile away.
That's not going to work.
You do have a sending stone that you could leave with them, but that means that you wouldn't have your sending stones.
I have a message, but it doesn't travel that far.
We're going to leave the sending stone. I think that'll probably be the best way.
Oh, apparently I'm casting it.
We'll probably have to tell the people that we're side in and Philanderin what's going to happen so they can get the safety.
I think we didn't we? We not ride in and tell the Growler and everything about what was going on.
Yeah. I wasn't sure what signal you were going to use, because the last time you had to make a signal to get the Manticore to come, you just completely forgot about him.
We're still haven't we?
What, you're going to go all the way to Fanvin and ask a Manticore to come and help you as well?
There we go.
Right, sorry, Earl.
I'm going to make sure the regional director for our friends knows that it will be a great time for our friends to show out and save the city and get loads and loads of.
Oh yeah, I have a list of the troops that you so far have collected. I also have strongholds and followers, so I can keep a track of them. So far, Leilon has 100 militia and 100 guardsmen, which is basically one unit of each. In addition, you now have a bronze dragon and a unit which is 100 men effectively of a swarthy mercenary company from down south that nobody seems to have heard of, but the report to you, Earl.
Oh.
So you have a full unit of men. So that's 300 troops. That's got to be enough, hasn't it?
Be fine. What could go wrong?
That should do until coffee break.
Right. So you have the new map. An indeterminate amount of time has passed according to the module in which the building has finished. The Palisade of Leilon forms a semicircle on the northeastern side of the town, defended by an earthen rampart. To the southwest, docks line the shore of the mere, packed with barges ready to cross the marsh and meet merchant ships at sea. Newly built houses with thatched roofs line Leilon's muddy streets. Thatch, that burns. At the centre of it all, the House of Thalavar, a tall wizard's tower, rises like a beacon, 4 times the height of every other building. The town below is bustling with merchants, workers, and the adventurers for hire. Visitors with coin to spend are welcome in Leilon, and adventurers are the settlers' favourites. For a while, there's much work to be done within the town, as there are deeds to be done outside, as told by notices on the job board at the fishery. However, you have been summoned to see the Growler. The new places offer Torva's Post sells adventuring gear. The Timora Shrine sells potions, of which you have been before. Still the same prices: 50 gold for potion healing, potion climbing, 150 for potion of growth, 150 for water breathing, and 5,000 for heroism.
For heroism. Right. I've still got I've got 2 potions of greater healing, and a potion of growth.
Yeah, there was some items. The scimitar of speed that you got last time with the hilt is engraved in a leaf design, and was the scimitar of a great elven hero. In the hands of a non-elf, it just works as a normal scimitar, sadly. And I have checked it up. And you still have a normal mace in the party fund. I don't know why. 1 potion of greater healing, Clockwork Amulet.
Why not in that bloody spell book?
I think you're just hanging on to it in case you pick a wizard up or you need to bribe somebody.
The thing is, we've had that spellbook lying about in the bottom of the sack since we first started this. Unless we can find a use for it, I'm going to start using the pages to light me pipe.
Yeah, the pages are stuffed full of spells and mystic runes, and they make pleasant purple and pink sparks, Andy, as you light your pipe with them.
But
As magic
it's
discharges.
a wizard, isn't it? Not just arcane.
It is a wizard, yeah.
Yeah. Scimitar speed good for? Probably not me.
Shashelian, being an elf, is the only one that can wield it effectively.
Sounds good.
And
you might as well have something for up close rather than just shooting them in the back of the head.
Yeah, and it means he can use a bonus action for a second attack with it.
It is true. It is very true.
Do you think it's worth nipping in the peculiarity shop to see if he's got anything in that we could use?
I don't say why.
Always peculiar shop. Go and roll a d20, darling. Lower the better from to have some actual magic items.
Yeah, we could sound.
He has something special for you. Something rather special. There's some awful things on here that could be bad, however. He has a bead of force.
Oh, they're quite good.
It's an actual magical item.
Bloody hell.
He looks at Rick and cocks an eyebrow and says, "See, darling, I have actual magical items this time."
Well, Donnie, did you nick that off?
I have my sources.
I hope you paid them your 10%.
I'm trying to find the price of it. I think it's quite expensive, however, because...
Is it worth trading him that magic that Clockwork Amulet that's been here for, eternity? Since
960 gold pieces, and it's an absolute steal, darling.
Sorry, I missed it. What is it?
960 gold pieces.
No, not the price, my good fellow. What actually is the item?
Oh, it's a small black sphere, and one throws it, and it explodes upon impact.
It's a marble, isn't it?
It is a marble.
Of doom.
A marble of doom.
That should be a thing, that really should.
A marble of doom. Well, I can't afford that.
Rich, do you need to add a portion of greater healing on my sheet? Because the one I got was on the other sash.
Okay. Portion of greater healing. What? I can do that. So 960 as he rolls this small black marble between his hands. You have to be careful. And then does the thing where he pretends to drop it and goes, "Oops! Almost!" Potions. Where art thou, potions? Potion of greater healing.
Could you copy one from my sheet?
No, it's easy enough. I just dragged it over. All right.
Can I buy a bloody great big crossbow?
Yeah, but I think you can only use light ones as a rogue.
I've got a light crossbow you can have if you want.
Well, thank you very much.
Just how do I transfer? Do I have to put it in the party sheet?
Yeah, just put it in the party sheet and then Elle can drag it from there.
Because I can always manifest one using my magic. I'm a twisty dwarf.
Michael, I am looking at the items because I forgot to do that as well. But the list I have seems to be woefully completely unbalanced compared to what is actually in the module for level. So I will have to sort that out for you.
Okay.
Right, so does anybody want to buy the Marble of Doom?
No.
Nah.
But who's the druid? Etrigal.
Yes.
And
right. Okay, you can fight over it. Right, I'm going to put the Scroll of Cold Lightning into the party sheet because I can't use it. It's got to be of your class. And according to what I've just looked up, Scroll of Cold Lightning is only druids. So, have at it.
Do you mind?
From the looks of it, it basically casts Cold Lightning.
Right. Well, I will then.
It's a druid. Druid only spell.
Much appreciated. Now, where the hell is that gone? Ah, there it is. That should be...
Right, so, shopping aside, and me desperately trying to sort some things out for Michael that I promised to do and then did not do. Yeah. The board has some minor quests on far beneath you now, like clear out a kobold nest and fight a few orcs that are up in the past, that kind of thing. You quickly bypass those as beneath your worthy statue and leave that to the younger and less experienced ones. But you have been summoned to see the Growler now that you've had time to settle in.
Guess we best go see them.
Head over to Growler.
Right, so you head down to the fishery / town hall. As per usual, the Growler and the usual crew are there arguing. She says, "Aye, come in."
Hello, Miss Growler.
We've been summoned.
Aye, Rick, you have. You brought news of this impending disaster, this war that's coming on. How forthcoming have you been with her? Have you told her everything, or?
We told her pretty much everything.
And she says, "I've taken stock of the troops. We've got 100 levies that we can scrape together, and maybe 100 guards. I mean, the town's doing well now that everything's rebuilt. We've got the pubs up, and the gambling dens are starting up, so it's all good.
We have 100 mercenaries as well as a bronze dragon.
Do we have mercenaries?
Aye, that's good. That's good.
Where do we get the mercenaries from?
You don't need to know. A friend of mine, he gave them for the defence of the city. An interested party.
Oh, you mean somebody from here?
Aye, swarthy mercenaries.
Lots of black moustaches.
Yes, right. Right, she says, "Well, I've got a job that I can only entrust to you fellas. What I need is for you to take a ship up to Neverwinter and speak to Lord Daggelt, Neverember, to secure troops from Neverwinter."
Do we have the time for this?
Well, if we've got two great armies coming to clash about Leilon, I seriously think that we're going to have to make time, because quite frankly, 300 men and a dragon is probably not going to stand against two armies. There's 2 ships anchored offshore. We've prepaid the captains to take you up to Neverwinter. It's an easy trip. It'll take you a day to sail up, and then all you have to do is petition Lord Daggelt and get his assurance he'll send men or guard the road or do bloody something. The trouble with lords of big towns is they're interested in defending the big towns and not interested in our little town that we've just rebuilt.
Does he know we're coming?
Have you seen the town gates, by the way? Lovely craftsmanship. Dwarves made them.
Fantastic.
Aye, dwarves are excellent.
Simple, easy, and all you have to do is, right up.
Aye, he's not wrong. Does this Daggelt know we're coming?
Aye, we've sent word. And you just to present yourself when you get there. He takes daily petitions from folks, so you should be able to speak to him when you arrive.
Luckily, we've got quite a vocal half-orc here who can speak to people, because I tend to get a bit cross.
Oh, I'm sure I can think of something to say. I want Welsh again. God almighty. We should be ready to go within the next half an hour.
Aye, let's get some more pipe tobacco.
Aye, that's good. That's quicker than I expected, I'm not going to lie to you.
We've seen what...
Less dithering. She says, obviously, we'll pay you. I'll read you the box text. 2 rival factions vie for control of the high road. The cult of Talos, god of storms, and the cult of Miracle, the god of death. An embassy representing the Sword Coast merchants would like to sail to Neverwinter to petition Lord Neverember for troops to protect the road. The emissary's ships are anchored in a bay near Leilon, and we will offer you 1,500 gold pieces for successfully negotiating aid.
Very well. I'm going to head over to my friend's house because I need a quick chat.
Mm-hmm.
Half an hour, Rick will be in the pub.
Which one? You have so many choices. The Knight's Goblet.
The Knight's Goblet, yeah. I think I read that backwards, but yeah.
Couple of things. Malar and Merkel, who are their natural enemy gods. I know Malar's is my leaky and Sylvanas, but I don't know anything about the enemy gods of Merkel. Would it be like Kelvinmore?
One's storms, one's undeath. You can pretty much get their
it's Talos, not Merkel.
portfolio, yeah. The Knight's Goblet Inn, Rick, it's an old coaching inn that's just been recently rebuilt, run by a noble half-elf lady, and it caters to the rich and wealthiest of nobles. You must surrender your weapons and swear a knightly oath on entry to treat your fellow guests with honour and respect. It doesn't sound exactly like the kind of pub that Rick would not drink in.
This place is getting burned, but okay.
I'm just going to look at it, and then I'm going to walk to another one.
Yeah, so the doorman, the bouncer's standing there, and he's like a fake half plate with his sword and that, and he's like, "Good morrow, Sir Knight. I take it you wish to treat upon this. You must hand in your weapons and swear a knightly oath to defend." And then Rick just What do you do, Rick? Just look them up and down.
I'm just gonna, I'm gonna turn around, leave, and go over to the other new one that's been built, and I can actually get my Leilon.
Oh no, the Umber shell was rebuilt last time, so that's been up a few weeks now.
Right,
but
I'll go there.
It's a much more normal pub.
Yeah, I'm just not even entertaining him.
Do you just give him a sarcastic look and and walk off? Right, so you head down to the pub and help yourself to several. It's a 2-story inn, so it also sells cots.
I just want some beer.
You get some beer. You overhear a local in the pub. Can you see that in the chat?
Yep.
That's what you overhear. Right, so Rick heads off to the pub and then the other pub. Bracy, what about you and Andy while Earl's off seeing his friend?
I declare pub crawl.
Yeah.
A pub crawl. So you go to the Knight's Goblet Inn, see how posh it is, and then crawl off to the other pub. Is that kind of...
Yeah. Basically, go to the Knight's Goblet Inn, hear the spiel from the doorman, fall about laughing, and then go to the other pub.
Stand in front of a unzip and go, can't take that weapon off, pal. Wink.
He looks pained but doesn't break character. Like a beefeater who's not supposed to react to people taking their mickey out. And
as we're walking off, I shall say loud enough for him, hey, did you say that plate? Oh, God, did you say it?
Right, go off.
In foil more like.
The new guy. Like Rick tends to generally just go, right, I'm off to the pub, and turns and walks. Doesn't ask you if you want to go to the pub, but it's generally understood that, if you want to follow him to the pub, that's fine.
Aye.
So are you doing anything specific? There is this bead of force for 960 gold pieces. It's an actual, honest to goodness magical item, he says, beaming at Rick.
I'm in the pub.
It's true.
Only anybody had that.
I'm at the Shrine of Lathander doing services.
Do we hear
Yeah, Shasha's got religion.
These locals talking about that fog bag witch?
Yeah, it's just a general rumour that you've picked up while visiting the pubs.
I'll go buy the fishermen a round of drinks because I want to find out more about it.
Well, you buy them a round of drinks, they're grateful, because you're well known around Leilon now as you're the new Swords of Leilon. And they wish that they'd give you more information, but sadly it's just one of those tales that passes around the docks. Right, so Earl, everybody else is shut off. Gagoth, are you going to the pub or?
Yeah, head off to the pub.
You get to know the lads there. Don't stand on ceremony, sit down kind of thing. Right, Earl, you head off to the office. What do you do?
Well, if we're in
I'll wander straight past the bouncer.
Oh, good
Pardon me.
grief.
And there's going to be a ballroom brawl. Well done, Edgar.
No, Andy attempts to strangle a cat. Oh no, that's just him trying to play the bagpipes.
Yep. Oh, goodness.
Do we have any contact? Do we have any contacts in Neverwinter?
Twiddling his moustache, he's like, we are the Zentaran. We have contacts everywhere.
I appreciate your work with the mercenaries. It might also be a good idea to spread word in the local shrines that if the time were to fall, their shrines would almost certainly be destroyed.
It is true.
Nothing
it's within our interests to keep the roads open and the trade going.
We will be journeying to Neverwinter. In Neverwinter, is there anyone I should contact to gain additional help from?
He says, should you need it, you can make a contact at this address, and he gives you the address of a pub. It's a Mr. Black, he says as he strokes his moustache, and you think, of course, it's a Mr. Black.
Of course it is. Thank you. Remember, spread the word amongst the shrines that they will need to ask their mother temples for help, and quickly.
Rich, could we have a roll on, I don't know what I'm doing, to see if we know anyone who would owe us any favours for, calling in help and stuff from the wee folk?
Which wee folk were those?
I don't know. Whichever wee folk have let us. Do we know, or would we know anyone who we could maybe get help with, or
what the norms at Norm Guard?
Possibly.
Yeah, you do know that you can send a message to Norm Regard and see what they say.
Aye, we'll do that.
Because they were quite efficacious fighting the dragon the first time.
And they always like a good scrap as well.
Do we have a secret teleport circle here?
We do not, I'm afraid.
Not very useful.
It's still
Thank you.
quite a frontier town. We have to. I can cast Shanks's pony for you, he says.
Yes, I'm sure you can, but unfortunately, Shanks's pony is going by boat. But if anything you can do, I will also include how helpful you have been. You know how it goes. We win this, we go up the ladder. This goes wrong, I get thrown off the ladder, I understand.
Yes, this would be bad for everyone involved if this goes wrong.
We have two imposing armies coming. They are going to have a war, and we're going to be in between them. Nothing good can come of this, but maybe we can kill everybody and take their shit.
Well, what does strike you is that everybody else seems to be the impression that they're coming here to get control of the main road. These entire primarily evil trading mega corporation, for want of a better word. So they seem to want to control the trade up the Sword Coast, which is why they're mucking in to help. And the Growlers under the impression that it's all about Leilon's position on the main road for trade. But there was a prophecy, if you remember last time.
Vaguely.
But if you forgot, that's all on you.
I have no memory of these things. Can you throw the regional map up a sec, Rich?
I certainly can, good sir. Map of the Sword Coast. And by that I mean, maybe. Where have you gone? Map of the...
Is that thing that was lost but is now found thing, prophecy?
That certainly could be the one.
What's Idle Island?
It has a bunch of, idols on. It's where the initial attack when you first turned up came from. And there's rumoured to be the ghosts there. But you went there and you didn't find any ghosts.
Just some drowned townsfolk, and they were already dead when we got there.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with you lot.
Honest guff.
I think I have a plan, boys, but it probably outstretches the sort of authority that we've been given.
When has that ever stopped us? Go on then.
Yeah, so what are you looking for? Mielster?
Big cities, but the nearest one is Neverwinter, isn't it?
Yeah, the nearest one's Neverwinter, and then north of that is Luskan, and beyond Luskan is Icewind Dale, if I recall correctly.
You do. Axholm, is that an active dwarven settlement or not?
No, that was the one you went in that got turned into a bomb shelter.
Ah, yes. Right, well, my plan's gone down the toilet. Other than us going, I'm going to assume the Growler is sending riders and messengers to everybody.
Yes, but as per usual, the Crown in Neverwinter is not taking anything as a serious threat, because until they say, a few thousand men march across the border, they're not like, oh, where are these armies then?
She's saying it's like the British government.
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much. Well, they have a flag, which is always a good thing. Right.
But they have a flag.
Before we depart, sorry, before we depart, can I arrange to send a message somehow to our friend the Crone, who's only 27, to warn her of what's coming and tell her to keep her head down?
Yeah, absolutely. You can send message to Fandolin, and then back from Fandolin, somebody will take it over for you. You've got plenty of friends in Fandolin. Even old Tom, the militiaman with his spear and his iron helmet, will run over for you. Yeah, Fandolin's a lot quieter now since you dealt with all of the dragon and all of that nasty business.
Right, well, I'll do that before we go.
I'm going to go to the Shrine of Lathander to pick Sash up.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm there, I'm going to ask if I can speak to the High Priest or whoever's in charge.
You certainly can, because Shash has taken his vows or something now. Let me have a look. Shrine of Lathander.
So that is why he's on his knees.
Is he partially clericy then?
He's a bit clericy now, aren't you, Shash?
Yep.
Sorry, Kalash, it was very noisy outside. There was quite a crowd. What was that you said?
You know what is coming, yes?
Yeah, apparently there's some people of the guards are coming down to take the trade road.
Yes, there is 2 giant armies coming. One of them is entirely made of undead. You may want to call your mother temple and get all the help you can as quickly as you can. They will not let a shrine stand.
That sounds bad. We've just rebuilt it after it got knocked down the first time.
It's going to get more than knocked down. They will desecrate it and do things to the altar that we never should think about. You need to get in touch with your mother temple quickly. In fact, you should get together all all of the priests in the various temples in town and get them to contact their mother temples for as much help as possible, as quickly as possible. Would you like me to pass the message to the temples in maybe Neverwinter when I'm there?
Yeah. Let me write a quick letter. So he writes a quick letter and seals it with wax and passes it to you and says, "If you just can hand that in at Neverwinter, that'd be fabulous." And then they'll get back in touch with me. And
you were in good terms with the shrines of Tyre and Timora, yes?
Oh yeah, everybody gets on great in town. I mean, we're only a small place, so we play whist on a Tuesday night. I mean, you're welcome to join us for a game of whist if you like.
I like a good game of whist. Maybe we should travel to those two shrines quickly and get letters from them. This may aid our cause.
Yeah, sure. I'll nip round.
I'll get his coat, put his coat on, walk him out the door, usher him up. Boat lives in 20 minutes.
Yeah, so you run around and you get letters to hand in while at Neverwinter. Yep. And then, is anybody doing anything else, or are you heading off to the boats?
I'm happy to head.
I get the feeling now you're all about raising this army. We're going to have crazy gnomes and evil Zentaran mercenaries. I'm liking it. I will kill the bloke in charge of Neverwinter, assume his position, and send the entire army down, because that's how I roll. Could be a bit extreme, though. Right, well, so after Earl does all this, presumably he thinks, I wonder where the rest of them are, because you don't have your sending stone now. And
no, I'll go to the pub.
Yeah, and you immediately go to the pub. Do you try the Knight's Goblet in first and then give up? Or
I'll look for the cheap. I'll look around and think, which has got the cheapest ale? That one, and head to that one.
Right, so you arrive back at the Umbershell Inn to collect the rest, and it sounds like somebody's trying to strangle a cat in there, so you guess that it's the two gnomes playing bagpipes again. Except this time, Gagoth, do they have drum accompaniment by chance on the war drums? Wow, and Rab got a 3, so we have a natural 1 and a 3.
My God. I'll get a big bottle of mead and a pint for everyone to wet our whistle before we go on the water.
They're probably quite glad we're going to Neverwinter.
Goth has joined in. He's pulled out a pair of war drums and he's drumming away like those mad Celtic people on YouTube.
Being a paranoid half-orc, I'm going to find a golden scroll case somewhere in town.
A scroll case you can just buy it at Torva's Post?
I will. It has to be a waterproof one, and I'm going to stick everything in it and seal it with wax, because water and emergency letters for help don't mix.
Excellent idea. You do that. Right, and whenever you're ready to leave, there's a barge waiting for you to take you across the narrow marsh on the coast out to sea where the two ships are waiting.
Actually, it just occurs to me, will Torva's Post sell a scroll case big enough to get a gnome in?
Are you going to try and invent a diving suit by making a large scroll case and sealing yourself in with wax?
No, I just like the idea of staying waterproof.
No.
There's a potion of water breathing, isn't there?
It's not something we usually have call for is gnome-sized scroll cases.
You're missing a trick there. There will be a call for them one day, I can guarantee it.
Yeah, once the Stormlord rolls in with his army and there's floods and hurricanes, then you guarantee you're... Okay, so you finally... one of you manages to drag everybody out the pub, probably Shashelian, who's now all preachy, aren't you?
I was just drinking to try and drown out the sound of those bloody bagpipes.
Boys, I brought us a drink. It'll be like Father Ted. I'll just, at the front, I'll hang it on a piece of rope and make everyone row towards it.
When Andy rolls his one, I look over the class and go, pipe it down. It's all right, he's just pissed.
Right, so the what's the word? Expedition?
Keystone Cop.
Yeah, the ambassadors to Leilon stagger out of the pub, singing...
I was just thinking bloody Ferrero Rocher.
Blowing bagpipes, and everybody looks glad to see them going in. You load yourselves into a small skiff and head out, still singing drunkenly, offshore. It takes a little while, and then you see two magnificent ships just beyond the marshy shore. Both have long strips of decorative cloth stretched from the top of their masts down to the railings around their decks. The smaller of the ships is decorated with blue, pink and purple fabric and has a massive figurehead shaped like a charging unicorn with a prominent gold horn. A name on the side of this ship reads Twinkle. The larger ship is adorned with white and gold fabric, and its figurehead looks like a lavender-eyed drow leaping forward to attack with twin scimitars. An enormous roaring panther head is attached to the aft of the ship. The name on the side reads Icing Death.
Alright, I'm going to say, are we allowed to choose what ship we go on? Because I bloody hate unicorns. They're just horses with delusions.
Yeah, absolutely.
What is the fist?
Right, they're travelling together as a part, and as the barge pulls next to them, there's a whole bunch of crewmen dressed as your average piratey types with hats and scarves and parrots, and there's two outlandish looking fellows, one on each ship. One wears the robes of a mage, the other one is dressed like the most flamboyant pirate character you can imagine. Tall, blonde-haired. They wave to you and they say, "Oh, you must be the delegation from Leilon. We've been paid to run you up to Neverwinter. Please come aboard." So you can head onto the bigger ship with the drow elf with the scimitars, or you can go to the unicorn one.
Don't like them.
Which one's captain is the mage?
The mage one
Is the big ship with
is
the drow, isn't it?
Delos is the Twinkle. I wish they'd actually label these on the map. I should have actually labelled them so I remember myself. Right, the Twinkle is the unicorn, and that is the one that is dressed like a pirate, and the Icing Death is crewed by the mage.
I should go for the mage one.
Icing Death will do, mate. I'm going to make one of these out.
Right, you see before you the ships and the rope ladders lowered over the side. And he says, "Oh, you have permission to come aboard. I'm Captain Zalty. Welcome to my ship." And he makes a flamboyant bow, and he takes his large, wide-brimmed hat off and holds it to his chest. But he is wearing mage robes. "Please, come aboard."
Go aboard, and I will spend, while everyone's chatting to him, I am going to carefully watch him.
Very good. Each crew seems to have around at least 30, 40 crew as they're climbing up the rigging, they're disappearing below decks, singing the flash you dazzling smiles. "Please, come aboard," he says. "You can go anywhere you like upon the ship, except my cabin. It's off limits."
Why?
"Because it's my cabin. I might have dirty scrolls in there, you don't know." I imagine Errol Flynn, the pirate version of Errol Flynn. That's what these guys go on like. Each ship you can see has twin-mounted baluster and twin-mounted mangonels. And they're obviously configured as ships of war.
What the hell is a mangonel?
Like a stone-throwing catapult type, but a ship-mounted one.
I look at Annie and snigger.
Right, Earl, give me an investigation check then, please. Or an insight check.
Pardon?
Right, what were you carefully looking at?
I'm just studying them. Does anything look odd?
Yeah, this whole thing looks odd. They're, like I said, they're very flamboyant, and it's like you've stepped into an Errol Flynn movie. They're singing, they're swinging from the rigging, and
ship doesn't look like it would make port in Luskan, does it?
Oh yeah, most ships will make port in Luskan in this area of the world.
Yeah.
But Luskan's the pirate town. It's kind of like the Tortuga, but up in the icy wastes. He says, "Please come aboard. Can I offer you refreshments? You look like you've already had a few. Is anybody not feel particularly well at sea? Have you all got your sea legs, do you think?"
Don't see why not.
Right, Twinkle, main deck. I know you're on Ice and Death. Right, Andy, you stand near an 8-foot tall, 4,000-pound stone statue of a drow elf ranger who looks to be wearing twin scimitars. He stands in a heroic pose with the hands on the pommels of his sheathed scimitar, and the statue's mouth is open in a goofy grin.
I shall pretend to be more drunk than I actually am, and I shall say to the captain, "What happened to him?"
Oh, he's just like a good luck charm, that's all. He says, before we go on a long journey, it's good luck for the crew and the passengers to touch the ship. A bit like Greyfriars, Bobby, to touch the statue.
I'll stroke its foot then.
Right, you touch its foot, and the captain shouts, "Artemis!" and a stream of water shoots out of its mouth and blasts you back. Can you give me a dexterity check, please?
Certainly.
Would be all kind of ship.
10. You're knocked backwards, and you flail your arms about and almost fall, but you're soaked through the skin, and all of the crew burst out in outrageous laughter. And he says, "That's it, you're officially a member of this crew now."
I should just look at him and mutter, "Fucking comedian."
You can see some strange things about this ship. There is 6 hatches on the deck, and like I said, there's these weird strings of cloth tied about the unusual figureheads. He says, "Well, shall we get underway?"
Aye.
He signals. He uses some spell. Rick, you recognise it as sort of like a cantrip. I think I don't know whether it's prestidigitation or whatever. To like form a message in the air. The guy on the other ship waves back, and the crew start making ready. He says, "You're welcome to stay on deck, or you can head down below. How's your sea legs?"
Better than my B legs.
Alphabet jokes, like it. He slaps you on the back. He says, "You're going to fit right in on the ice and death."
I was so tempted to turn around and go, "I will kill you." I best not.
"I will kill you until you die from it."
Stay on deck.
The captain's cabin is this door, which is right here. He said, "That's locked. That's my personal space."
That's locked, is it?
Yeah.
Well, locked is a very temporary state of being around me and him, but that's not the point.
Just what I was thinking.
The set sail, the rigging unfurls as a great snap as the wind catches in it. The ship turns. The captain makes a gesture at the whaleman, and the whaleman spins the ship, and it turns really tightly. None of you are very experienced on the ocean, but the ship fairly pivots round. The ice and death and the twinkle fall into a formation very quickly, about 30 feet apart. He says, "Well, it's going to take us a day or so to get to Neverwinter." He says, "There's no gambling aboard the ship unless I get a piece of it. No drinking on duty, but obviously you don't have any duty." He says, "If you're bored, there might be a game of liar's dice down in the crew hall later on. Like I said, feel free to stay up on deck or look around."
I'll stay on deck.
Right, actually, you're all full of beer, aren't you? So let's have some DC 10 Constitution checks.
I'll hear beer.
I wouldn't say full of.
Out of being a dwarf, I feel this is slightly right.
You get advantage, Rick. You get advantage. Yeah. Edgar, you roll a
I'm
1.
hanging over the side, shouting for my Uncle Ralph.
Yes, you are. You as the ship suddenly spins around, you feel your stomach lurch, and Edgar runs for the side and starts barfing over the top of the rail.
Damn with.
Better out than in. That's what. Better out than in. That's what he says.
I knew the pub called that.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, my laptop went funny. And by that, I mean that I pressed the wrong button. DC 10 Constitution checks.
Yes. You didn't have advantage being a dwarf. Not whether you might still be seasick. Ooh, that was lucky. Yeah, so you do feel a bit queasy, but rather than letting it all out, you sort of tough it out. The rest of you are fine, remarkably fine, in fact.
What was instead of spit?
Yeah. He says, "Feel free to chat to any of the crew. Obviously, don't interfere in their duties. Watch out when the rigging comes round. You might get a knock on the head."
Yeah, I'll sit somewhere with my back to the gunny well and just watch what's going on.
Right, so
Mind my own.
You head to the back of the ship where the giant panther head is. Standing next to the wheel, there's a guy at the wheel. It gives you a broad grin.
With the panther.
So is that what you're doing? You're just sitting watching?
I'm watching, and I'm going to talk to anyone around. I'm going to ask him what's with the panther.
He says, "What? The twinkle, the ice and death, the statue, the drow with the 2 scimitars?"
Yeah, that.
He says, It's what you might call the captain's hobby, I guess. He he finds that Drizzt fella quite amusing.
Who?
You never heard of Drizzt? Drizzt Do'Urden? The self-proclaimed greatest ranger that ever lived?
No.
He says, yeah, I knew he was overrated. That's what everybody says. Nobody's heard of him.
I have.
Dances around up north with a bunch of dwarves. And then he sort of like pulls faces and he's like, oh, I'm Drizzt Do'Urden. I'm so gloomy and edgy. Nobody likes me.
That's how he gets all the girls.
Right, so what about the rest of you? Rick, Shash, Gagoth, Weerab? I mean, you can just sit and Andy can throw his guts up all the way to Neverwinter. It's only a day's journey, if you like.
I'll have a chat with the sailors. Ask them how the ship handles and that.
He says, she's the fastest warship on this part of the ocean. And she's got a sting in her tail.
I want to ask one of the guys, whoever it is, the sailors, have they seen or heard themselves of any of this fog that's been rumoured to have been seen from the guys in the town in Leilon?
Very good.
Very good, yeah. He says with the last few months, weird storms have been happening. We saw a big storm coming in along the coast a few months back that suddenly cut off. We've seen fog banks, we've seen hurricanes. There's all sorts of weird storms. That's why the boss sent us down here to sort of check it out, help you out.
Right. I was just wondering if maybe they were using the fog bank as like to cover up like an invasion fleet or something. But
anything's possible. Rick, are you hanging onto the mast there?
No, I'm just gonna sit down and wait it out.
That's epical, killer.
One of the sailors turns to you and says, if we get into a scrap, you might not want to sit on those hatches. That's where all the ammo comes up.
Right, I'll move over then. I'm not a massive ship.
He says, although it would be funny if we loaded a dwarf onto the end of a baluster and shot at an enemy ship.
Would you like to say that again?
You better off using the tortoise.
Gagoth, you're obviously stoic as you're a little ill.
Yeah, I'll go down below deck, explore what's down there.
Yeah, you head down below deck. This is where I try and maneuver you without breaking everything. Boom. Right. You head down. You see some crew cabins and spares for the baluster. A bunch of sailors that are not on duty standing having a game of liar's dice in the corner.
Cool.
The main hold. The sailors rest in shifts using 16 hammocks strung up in cabins around the many strap cases. The place is full of crates, and there are also 6 baluster below deck. You notice the baluster corresponding with the hatches that are on the main deck, and there seems to be some kind of gear and pulley mechanism. Maybe popping the baluster out.
Okay. What is in the... I'll go into the room in the front of that.
The room in the front of that, before you open the door, there's the rattle of pots and pans, and one of the sailors says, "Oh, that's just the galley. You don't want to go in there when Cookie's in there. He'll shout at you." And indeed, you can see this galley has been crudely carved into the door in the wood. You're still able to open the door if you wish, but the sailor says, "Well, Cookie don't like being disturbed when he's working," and smells of cooking come from the other side.
I'll stick my head around the door anyway.
Right, you see a sailor in a dirty chef's hat with an apron and a large ladle, and as you poke your head around the door, a large table, pots and pans hang all around, and a large cauldron sort of bubbles with stew or soup of some kind. And he's like, "Dinner's not ready yet, so for another 2 hours."
Good to know. Close the door and head off towards the back of the ship.
Right. You head to the back of the ship. You put your head in that. That is just a cargo hold at the back. Crates are all lashed to the sides of the ship. Why do I not have a working door? Right, so, so crates and barrels are lashed to the sides of the ship at the back. Is there anything else you'd like to do? Anybody there?
I'm happy just...
Go talk to any of the crew. Go talk to any of the crew who's in the main area of the hold.
Yeah, they're either lounging on the hammocks because they're off duty, or there's a liar's dice game going on in the back corner. You fancy your chances, mate?
Not really, but why not? Be a laugh. So I'll join them.
So you join them. Roll your gambling. Gambling's a thing, right?
Tools, items, gambling.
Yeah, that's the one.
Or gaming set.
Gaming set. Yeah. So, you don't do so bad. Let's have a look at them.
What are my tools?
Yeah, you lose a few coppers and silvers. They're a good-natured bunch, and you have a good crack on with them. You generally, if you find out that they seem to be very loyal, and they are interested in finding out what is going on in the area, because obviously, all of the storm, the influence of the storm god has caused a lot of problems. Right, can everybody give me a DC 20 insight check? So you while away, I don't know, half an hour, there's a few copper coins and a few silver coins.
An hour.
Oh, right, okay. Everything seems good. Shash, you notice... Did it not show? Did it not? Or did you not roll it? Right. Shash, you notice occasionally the crew members will communicate to each other in some sort of sign language, but it's very quick and you almost didn't see it. It's not any kind of language that you're familiar with, but you just notice that almost as if it's quicker in some cases to communicate with this sign language. Maybe some kind of sea sign language or something, you're not sure.
Was I'm sitting there just... Sorry.
Yeah, go on, Rick.
I'm just going to say I'm going to have just a wander around the top of the ship and, kind of do a bit of a hand twiddle and cast detect magic, see if there's anything fancy around here.
You cast detect magic. You almost go blind. Everything's magic. It's just degrees of magic. The crew are magic. The ships are magic. The sails are magic. The steering wheel's magic. The panther at the back is quite magic. The statue's very magic, and particularly the figureheads on the front of the ship is extremely magic. All of the crew is shown as magic. Everything's magic.
The crew is showing as magic.
Yeah, the whole thing is magic. You literally cast it and you have a quick intake of breath because it's like everything's glowing. It's glowing with illusion, alteration. Some of it's glowing with destruction magic.
Can I roll Arcana or something similar to see if I know what's going on?
It's not something that you would be familiar with. All you know is that the figureheads are the most magical things, but everything's a bit magic. The captain is actually going to roll a perception check, I think.
I'll head over here. Have a look down at the figurehead of the
right, the back is quite magical. Make an investigate check on the figurehead.
I did.
Yeah, Kalash, you see Rick sort of looking about and then looking over at the back of the ship and knowing nothing. The mouth is not a solid piece. It looks like it's actually open. There may be a cavern or cabin or something behind. But yeah, Kalash, you notice Rick looking a little worried about. Shash, do you say anything? Do you whisper or?
I can't really think of any reason to tell about the hand gestures. I mean, well, I mentioned that they use sign language down then.
Who to? You just going to shout it across the ship, or?
No, I go up and whisper in Kalash's little ear.
Right, Kalash, you. Shash comes over to you, whispers in your ear. They're using some kind of weird sign language, and Rick is quite obviously looking round, like looking at everything, kind of a little bit wide-eyed.
Can I use wisdom perception on my eye for detail to see them and watch for these hand signals and start trying to decipher what sort of thing they're passing on, and also
absolutely
keep a very close eye on stuff at this point?
Absolutely. Right, that's a little bit magical at the back, but the strong magic is radiating from the figurehead at the front.
Yeah, Rick's going to walk across to the front to have a look at that one, but can I roll stealth so that I don't look as obvious to do it?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, my question still stands. Could I manage to roll stealth? And the answer is no.
No. So you wander across the deck. You can describe that. Looking wide-eyed at everything.
Yeah, I'm just going to have to pretend to be like...
Yeah, Etigal, for at least at the moment, seems to have stopped vomiting because maybe he's just run out of everything.
I'm empty.
Give him a kipper.
I'm going to keep moving across. And if somebody tries to stop me...
No, nobody's stopping you. They're all smiling.
Don't trust my Leilon boss. Right, I'll go there. Can I roll an investigation check on the front steps?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, So pleased I got that skill expert. Fuck off. That's exactly what I rolled for the back one. And the +3 is only from skill expert. Right,
yeah, your detect magic tells you that it's radiating powerful alteration and illusion magic. Your investigation tells you it's a figurehead of a drow holding 2 scimitars.
Well,
I'm just going to take my time studying them and watching this hand signal and lot.
Okay. Did you roll your insight? You did. Yeah, now you know what you're looking for, Earl. It's not all the time, but occasionally they do a little flick of their hand signals.
Tend to try to do it surreptitiously, or is it like second nature?
It's like it's second nature, like it's another language to them.
So it could be
when people are multilingual, but to the point where they can effortlessly drop in and out of 2 different languages. Yeah, and Rick is looking the most suspicious of all, as he's trying not to, but somehow it actually makes him stand out more as he's going around looking at everything, because his stealth roll was that terrible. He's looking more suspicious by trying not to look. Like he's whistling nonchalantly when he's not trying to.
I'll stand up and walk over to him and walk, calm down. They have some secrets. There's probably things here they don't want us to see. Let's not make a big deal of it. But also, watch your back.
What are you watching at? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm being subtle.
Not being subtle.
This is subtle for a dwarf.
It is not. It is not even subtle for a small giant in a large house. It is the opposite of subtle. You need a fanfare when you sneak.
Right, it's not my fault. I've got a big presence.
That's one word. I'll basically lean over and check on Ettigal, and then mention to wee Rab and Ettigal that watch your backs. There's a rabbit away, but we don't know what it is. Probably isn't dangerous, but
Not very much. I feel much better now I'm empty.
Yeah, he says I feel fine now. No, that was the last bit. I swear.
Take a bit of the kipper that he's getting, that Ettigal's holding, that wee Rab's holding under his nose. I'll pull a bit of kipper off and wander back to where I was sitting with me bit kipper.
Carrots? I don't remember eating carrots.
Right, there are some other doors on the deck that you can't see from there, because obviously the way the ship is. So if you go down the stairs, there's doors here and here, Rick. I'll move you over so you can see. You're on the same level of deck, but obviously the thing. So there's fore and aft doors.
Okay. I'm trying to be a little bit more cautious now. Cautious warned me.
Well, I'm not poking about because I just want to get to Neverwinter. So if they want to try and murder us, they can have a go, but we'll murder them first.
So the front door, the fore door is the one that's the captain's cabin. He's told you not to go in there, and there's the rear door. But if you're quite happy to just sit and take a journey, then we can skip ahead to Neverwinter. Is there anything else you wish to do?
And get kicked off a ship that we desperately need.
I suppose so. I'm curious about what's going on, but no, there's probably more sensible. There's bigger things at risk here.
I'll go and explore the back room on the mid deck.
Right, the back room on the mid deck. You push it open. There's 3 of the crew in there. The cabin contains a 3-foot high table set with navigator's tools, as well as 2 easels and 2 frames on the wall holding nautical maps of the Sword Coast. There's 3 in there. One of them's obviously their head navigator. He says, all right there, what do you want?
Having a look around.
The captain's letting you have the tour, is he?
Yeah, he is.
Got any questions? Just feel free to ask. We're a friendly crew, so there's your benches there, Gogoth.
Yeah, go in and have a look at the maps.
They seem to be, to your knowledge, fairly standard navigational maps of the Sword Coast. You don't have any nautical background or anything like that, do you?
Outlander, but apart from that, I don't think so.
No. The maps, over in the left-hand side of the map, it has a picture of a dragon and it says, "Here be dragons." Nothing outrageous. Right, so you wait out the rest of the day. Nobody wants to say anything. Anybody or do anything? You're okay with that?
I'm just watching everything that happens from my little vantage point on the deck.
Right, yeah. Well, other than that, they're friendly. They give you food, which is bland, but it's not full of weevils.
Weevils add protein.
And by the end of the day, you arrive in the enormous docks of Neverwinter. It's a big, sprawling metropolis city with every race, colour, creed, and sex that you could possibly imagine. There's a main street with many wards. There's a merchant's ward, the artisan's ward, that kind of thing. But you have been sent to go up to the castle to speak to
Lord Daggett.
Yes, Lord Daggett.
Is there a guard on a guard post?
Yeah, there's guards all over. It's a big walled city. They have regular patrols of guards walking about.
I'll wander up to guard. Hello.
Evening.
Are there any mercenary companies based in this city?
That's an unusual question. You new to this city, lad?
I am. I'll give the right today.
Make a persuasion check. 15. He says we have a couple of mercenaries. They're employed by Lord Daggett, as you can imagine.
Yes, of course.
The best mercenaries on the Sword Coast, we'll have you know. His companion looks strangely at you as to why that would be the question you ask.
Thank you. That was very useful.
Are you intending to head off to the temples and deliver the messages?
Yes, first to the temples and then to the kingdom, the castle.
Castle Never. Yeah, no problem. You just say, I'll just nip off, and you dash off. Does anybody else want to do anything while you're in this great metropolitan city while waiting for...
Check the shops for magical items?
There's no magical item shops in Neverwinter that I know of. Because I have no information. I know there are Neverwinter source books, but this module gives you absolutely zero information.
Right, so it's a bit more difficult to do anything there.
It is, yes.
I was wondering if we could find a wizard to sell that pass book to, and I wasn't doing it the one with the unicorn.
The spell book. Certainly. Make a.
If the others are happy selling the spell book that none of us can use.
Yeah, it suits me.
It has a bunch of spells in it, actually. So make a.
I was thinking just renting a person you could let for money copy the spells out, and we'll keep the books.
That will work.
That's not a bad idea, that.
Well, you can copy spells into books and vice versa.
Yes.
Yeah. Right, where you could, for a fee, let them copy some of the spells out of the book into their book. So we still keep the book and the spells, but we're making money.
He's got a point. Shashelian has got a point.
That's it. Good business acumen.
Right, so with you are the two captains. You're obviously nipping off, doing your quick little side missions and nipping in tea shop and going to sort of the standard Quayside gift shops or whatever. Look, I've got a snow globe with Neverwinter Harbour in and that kind of thing. I've got a cheap plastic decoration of Castle Never.
I've got a fridge magnet. All I need now is a fridge.
I'll see if I can find a small statue of Dritz de Hogan doing that Buddy Jesus pose. And I can give it as a present to the captain.
Do you know what? I like that, Dave, so I'm going to allow you to find one. So 10 gold pieces. It's pretty cheap materials, but it's Dritz doing the Buddy Christ pose from Dogma. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so that aside, the captains give you maybe 20 minutes and they're like, right, we'll have to meet outside Castle Never because time is a wasting.
It will not take me long.
So you perform your business and head up to Castle Never. The captains show a stamped letter and you're ushered in. You have to wait a short time until Lord Daggett is doing audiences. You stand in the great marble hall of Castle Never on a red carpet that leads up to a throne. Atop the chair sits a serious man in shining plate armour and a blue cloak with gold trim. Lord Daggett, Never-Ember, strokes his short grey beard as he listens to the pleas of the captains to secure the high road and send troops to Leilon. When they finish, the Lord turns towards you. I have been informed that you are the new Swords of Leilon. As such, I would like each of you to make your case. Why should I send troops to Leilon? By all accounts, it should be able to defend itself by now. I've already poured many resources into the town, and it is yet to pay anything back. Who wishes to step forward first?
Rick will, actually. He's going to point out that My lord, as you say, it's not paid out yet, but if it's destroyed, it's never going to pay out. You're better off sending us the troops and the help that it needs. And let's face it, it could defend itself on a normal level, but this is a war between an undead god and some sort of flashy lightning god. We need the help. I speak plainly as I find it.
I'll accept a persuasion or a performance check from you.
The same for charisma. 15.
A 15. He strokes his short grey beard and nods his head along. It's true. We've already invested so much money, then it would be difficult for us to recoup anything from a town such destroyed, and we do need to keep the trade route open. I will take it under advisement. What say you, Swords of Leilon, who would like to speak their case next? Shashalin, you've stood forward. What do you do now?
I say, well, my lord, as you would know, if you've got two enemy armies operating near your city, they'll be raiding towns, villages, and all those undead troops messing about. I mean, you're going to get the roads blocked, or, I mean, to be honest, it's going to be really bad for the road trade. Not to mention, some people might think, that you're not able to defend yourselves properly.
That's true. Go on, give me you can have a persuasion check, or I would allow you performance. See, depending on the type of words you use, it depends on, or how you approach it, depends on what check you get to make, you see. Clever, eh? Yes, indeed. It is most important that the trade road stays open. Do you speak well, Shashalian? Who wishes to speak next?
I all speak next.
It's, his head leans in, whispers in his ear. It's Kalash, isn't it? Yes.
It is correct. My lord, were you not to intervene in Neverwinter, many things would happen. Some have been pointed out by my friends, but I will point another. The people of these lands will believe that you are not able to keep the peace. You will not be able to uphold the Lord's alliance and holding the roads open. Other factions, darker factions, will move in, saying this is carte blanche to extract what they wish from the regions. You will be on the back foot for many years trying to make indents into their hold. Bards already there will sing of the fact that no relief army came from Neverwinter. Your name will be blackened. People will scoff at you. This is not something you should do.
You make good points, Kalash. You can try persuasion or intimidation.
Intimidation, please.
Yeah. I put the fear of God at me. Give him the willies.
You get advantage on this. Hang on, I need to have a quick look. No, I don't.
What? The DF-14s? He taps his teeth and he says it's true. I mean, although all know the Neverwinter is mighty, should I show signs of weakness, then certainly the sharks would come a-circling. You speak well, Kalash.
Also, the temples will need to be defended. I have passed messages from their shrines to ask for the defense of their temples.
Excellent. Bless you.
Something you should find from your point of view of your deities. So I don't know who he worships, but I figure if he worships any of them in them shrines, he's going to get in trouble with the boss.
Yeah, they're generally good, like AN, good non-specific deity. He says, yes, you speak true. Who wishes to speak next?
Go on then. I'll shuffle forward. Looking very shifty and ill at ease. My lord.
Rick was going so well.
Charming. My lord, when I first came to this land, the people of this land, first in Phandalin and then in Leilon, took me in, made me welcome, gave me work. So this is now somewhere I consider home. I will fight for my home. I always would. If we do nothing and Leilon falls, I lose my home. That, to you, is not important. But what is more important is if my home falls, it's only a matter of time before whichever of these armies is victorious uses Leilon as a base to take over more of the coast and ultimately to threaten Neverwinter.
Can I give him a round of applause, please? Because that was spotty dog. My character stands and claps.
I'm only a gnome. I speak as I find.
I'm only a gnome? Yeah, I would allow persuasion or performance on that. Yeah.
I was almost gonna get the bagpipes out and go, and I'll sing you a song about it.
And I'll sing... Here, let me sing you a song of a noble lord who defended his lands.
Well, I stand a vague chance. What's me persuasion? Oh, no, right.
Wow. 26. Yeah, he sees Kalash come and he says, Edgar, you've spoken well. And a smile cracks his face. And he says, one thinks one should almost applaud himself, to be honest. You make a good case. It's noble for the common man to protect their homes, for if I don't have any common men with homes, then Neverwinter will not collect taxes from them. We can't have that.
Yeah.
I'll just mutter very, very whisper quietly to Kalash. Common? Who's he calling common?
Right, so we have Gigoth or Weerab to step forward and speak from the heart. I almost dread.
Have to speak.
It'll be a bloody good fight.
Go on then. I'll ruin everything for everyone. Go. Your lordship. You know, these two armies. The rumours are that something's been found in Leilon, and they're wanted bad. So if they get it? If it's worth sending two whole armies to fight over, it could end up, heading for a whole disaster of biblical proportion on the entire continent. Real old fiery stuff. Wrath of gods, the pissed off gods. Fire and brimstone coming out from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling. 40 years of darkness. Earthquakes, volcanoes. The dead have already risen from the grave. Human sacrifices. Dogs and cats living together. But you, my lord, if you send the troops and we stop this, then you will have saved the lives of every taxpaying citizen. Think about that.
This is better than I expected. You can go persuasion or performance.
I really wanted him to say, "What's a Bible?"
It's not a bad rule. We Rab, that your tale of war does indeed move us. We shall take this under consideration. So, just the newest member of the Swords of Leilon, Gigoth, I believe
don't worry.
it is.
I'll ruin it for everybody. You got two great armies who are going to meet and fight. You're going to have to face the survivor. What better time to attack them than when they're occupied? Now, I don't care whether you come with us or not, whether you send men or not. If you haven't got the courage to be there, but when I leave here, I'm going there and I'm going to stand against them. That's it.
Simple words from a simple fighting man. I like it. You can use persuasion or you could use intimidation.
Probably better with intimidation.
Wow, yeah, we've got them across the board here. So you all speak and then step back into a line. And Lord Degolt says, "You've all spoken nobly. I would be a fool not to listen to such moving words. I will send troops. I will," and he turns to his aide and he says, "Send out the order. We need to send out some cavalry and troops. Send some of the mercenary companies." He says, "Neverwinter thanks you for your loyalty. Please do call again when all this is over."
Sure. Have we got time for a quick drink, boys, before we get back on the water?
Don't see why not.
I've got a pub I need to head down to, so I'll head down to that pub.
So yes, you head down to the pub. You get the Lord of Neverwinter will be sending out a unit of knights, a unit of guard veterans, and a unit of scouts. So bowmen.
Well, that could be useful.
He'll send an order. They will march down and they will be there within the week.
Sweet.
I'm going to make sure every temple in the town, not just the ones that I have the letters for, and then I'm going to the pub, and then I have a sneak plan.
You have another sneaky plan.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any druids in the city, unlikely I know, but there might be, you never know, can I try and contact them and see if they can help as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't suppose there would be any city without at least some sort of druidic representation. Maybe there's some kind of sacred grove or royal forest or something within the confines of the city.
I'll go on there.
So you head there, and Earl heads to the pub. Does anybody else anywhere?
I'll go to one of mine. I don't think my patron would be, particularly bothered about it, to be honest. She just likes information, so, that's not going to help. So I'm just going to go to the pub.
Right, seems perfectly reasonable. Do you go into just a dockside pub, or are you wanting to try one?
The one where Kalash goes, or is he wanting to keep it private?
Oh no, there's no way you could pick up what we're up to. We have brilliant secret codes. And
Yeah, they are the most secret of secret organisations.
Right. I don't care. That's the main.
A drink, whichever bar I've got to go to.
So, Gagoth and Weerab.
Yeah,
Dockside pub. Dockside pub.
Yeah, I'll follow them.
The captain says, right, we need to get back to Leilon as soon as possible. If we tarry no more than maybe an hour and then meet back at the ships, we can be back by morning.
I can get a couple of pints in an hour.
I'll be there anyway. Woohoo!
I may as well just head for the ship.
Because Dave's gone all religious now. He's like, I don't want to drink any of your filthy ale. I'm going to the ship.
I don't know what's going to happen when they're going to get seasick again. Because I drank too much.
I don't get seasick.
Just leave your money. Just leave your money, Dave. Me and Edric will have yours.
What were you going to say, Earl? I didn't catch it.
Can you hit up some of the temples then before you go back to the ship?
Yeah, I'll pop round the temples. So we're going to need some help with undead around Leilon.
Okay.
For paladins, this is like paladin work.
Yeah. So go on, make us a persuasion roll there, Shash, and we'll see how you do.
Disturbed when Kalash is wanting a paladin around. All right.
Well, I'm sure it is, but we've never seen no undead army here. So you go around a few temples, but you don't seem to hold a great sway because you're only near one. Andy, you arrive at the Royal Forest or the Great Oak or whatever it happens to be, where the local Druid cove is.
Right, I shall go and search out the Head Druid.
Yeah, the Head Druid is a tall, skinny man who has small animals scampering about him, a great hook nose.
Sorry, I genuinely thought you were going to say a tall, skinny man with tiny hands.
And tiny hands? I don't know why he's got tiny hands, but...
It's the tiny animals. I just thought you were going to say tiny hands.
Yeah, that's a logical thing. I'm going to say tiny hands. Yeah, a great, tall, skinny bloke with tiny hands covered by small animals that run about him, and he invites you in and says, please come sit, have some of nature's bounty. That's the thing about Druids. You get lots of twigs and nuts.
Here's your coconut. Wait, it's bounty. I'll basically tell him why I'm here and explain what's happening. The point being that if Neverwinter doesn't do all it can to help, you know where they're going to come next.
The forests. They're going to come and chop the forest down and make great war machines out of them.
Exactly.
And Druids are not that keen on undead, so make a persuasion roll with advantage.
Hang on.
Oh, it's pretty good. Very good. He says, aye, youngling, the undead are foul and they'll desecrate the land. We must protect it for the goddess. I'll send what aid I can.
Thank you very much. Can't ask for more than that.
Maybe like otters riding bears or something will be a laugh. We'll just see how unusual it get.
You want to say me, Badger?
Well, we're hardly on first name terms. So you spend a pleasant time, but then the hour grows short, and if you wish to catch the ship back, you must wish them farewell and meet back at the ship.
Yes, I shall let Button go. Shit, the ship's going. I'll have to go.
Yeah, as you jam your hat on your head and dash down the street.
Yep.
Right, you drunken sots, you drag yourselves out of the pub in time to meet Shash back on the ship, or are you just going to walk back and leave him by himself?
Suppose I'll meet him.
Can I head to the Zintoran pub?
You can.
I will ask the gentleman whose name is on the piece of paper that I ate earlier.
Mr. Black, yes.
I would like to speak to Mr. Black.
Right, you give the passphrase or hand signal, whatever it is, and you're shown into a back room, and then a guy sits, half shrouded in darkness, so you can only see part of his face, the usual.
Hello, Alan. Mr. Black, I have been sent from Leilon. I am sure you already know what is occurring there.
Yes, I've received a report. We're sending down some mercenaries, apparently.
Send more. The Lord's Alliance has sent very few troops. Our stranglehold on Leilon could be insurmountable were we to turn these armies back, and the people of Leilon take our gratitude over that of the Lord's Alliance.
This is disturbing. It could affect trade along the entire coast. Do you want to make a persuasion roll with advantage there? All? Oh, 18. Yes, I will certainly see if we can send more mercenaries, or perhaps even more specialised troops. I'll see what we can be mobilised in short notice. We're not... while we do have a military arm, it's not in the area, as it were. So there'll be quite a lot of force marching.
It may also be worth riling up the local temples. I believe they are not working hard enough to help their brother temples. It is not our business, of course, how the temples attire do their thing. But if we were to shame them in some way, maybe a rumour were to start.
Yes, I believe we have some leverage that may be applied in the right places.
Thank you, Mr. Black. It was most enjoyable.
It was a pleasure to meet you, Kalash. Your name has been mentioned several times in the dispatches.
I'm glad to hear this.
As you say that, Earl, you get that little gleam in your eye, the little green gleam.
Who are you spying on? I'm spying on everyone. I'm a spy.
I'm a spy for everybody. And then, time running short, you run back to the ship, yeah?
Yeah, I'll get back to the ship.
Right, the captain is... are you still going on the Ice and Death, or are you going on the other one, or are you splitting between them?
No, we'll go on the Ice and Death. Well, I will.
Rick still doesn't like unicorns.
Bloody unicorn.
You can't
Bloody
trust
nonsense.
I'll give the Buddy Dritz to the captain.
Buddy Dritz.
He says, that is fantastic. I'm going to put it on my desk. Pride of place.
God, he means that as well.
He absolutely does. He lets out a large roar of laughter. And you set sail. As you sail down the coast for several hours, the skies darken and it looks like it's going to be rain. The crew are undisturbed by this, and you make good time. And then suddenly, expected by nobody, is a cry comes from the captain's cabin.
I'll turn round. Since I'm sitting at the back of the ship, I'll turn round to one of the crew and go, is that normal? I do not know how hard this grip is.
I head towards the captain's cabin.
No, it's not normal at all. And as you say that, the weather begins to get worse.
Can I cast Detect Magic to see if I can tell that this storm is magical?
You're kind of blinded by the magicalness of everything.
Too bloody shiny on this boat.
Right, well... You head towards the captain's cabin. Is this correct, David?
Yeah.
Right, so you run to the door and yank the door open, which is not locked. You see the captain. First of all, I'll describe his cabin.
You have a bad feeling about this cabin.
Silk pillows and discarded robes surround a central 2-foot-high table attached to the floor. At the back of the room, a small wooden chest is built into the wall. The captain is pressed up against the back wall, and he is lifted like several inches off the floor, and he seems to be he's choking and patting the air as if he's trying to struggle with something, but you don't see any opponents.
It's probably an invisible stalker like we had before. So I'll swish my sword close to near where he's got his hands, as if like there's an invisible stalker nearby.
You should be able to see him at the back of the room. So, initiatives. So you run forward and stab out, Dave, yeah?
Well, slash.
Okay. Make a combat roll with disadvantage as you slash wildly at something that isn't there. Right, your sword bites into something. Roll your damage. And it slams into something that is unseen. Right. And now we go to normal initiative. So you've run into the room and you're standing there. Okay? Ettigal, you're up first. You just hear a cry. Shash bolts through the door to the captain's cabin.
Right. I shall move into the captain's cabin as well.
I shout, invisible stalker.
Right. If Shash is shouting that, can I keep moving?
You can, yes. You've still got your movement.
Right. So that ought to put me next to it. And I presume if there's something holding the captain up.
Right, you
floor.
get to there as you move past Shash, but there's something in the way in front of you because you bump into it.
Oh, right. Well, can I eat it?
You can. You can.
There'll be
you
no
know
sneak
it's
attack
there.
in here, is there?
Eh?
There'll be no sneak attack in here, though.
Yes, because you stand next to Shash Alien, remember?
Oh, of course, yes.
You're
right,
at disadvantage to hit, so roll you to hit with disadvantage.
Oh, hang on. I'm just making.
So don't target anything and just roll to hit.
Right, hang on.
But roll with disadvantage as you flail about.
I just need to do that, but don't I? Wait a minute. Back over here.
Oh, that's going to hit, definitely. Yeah, you can hit. That definitely bites in, and you feel something thrash around with your blade as you slash into it. So I can put that next. Is that your turn, sir?
Can I offhand it with my other short sword?
You can. You have to roll with disadvantage, so roll again. Because it is invisible. Right, 13 misses as you flail it back. Shashelian, you're up again.
Right, I'll do another hit. Disadvantage again.
Yep. Right, that's certainly going to hit, yeah. Yeah, you swing again. You hit twice, yes.
Shit.
And my bonus action, I can hit it again.
Yep, disadvantage, remember. Wow, look at those bonuses of that big old sword. Yeah, that's another hit. Right, you do some damage. So now you can see there's two forms just shimmering in front of the captain. Gagoth.
Go across to the cabin.
The cabin's the one at the front of the captain's cabin.
Yeah.
So are you going in the back cabin?
No, across to the front cabin.
Right. You grab your axe, you run for it across to the front cabin. You can't see anything except Shashelian is waving his sword about, shouting, "Invisible stalkers!"
Okay.
Is that your turn? Are you just moving or dashing? Or
just moving?
Okay. As you move, you feel the pitter-patter of rain starts pouring down upon you on the deck. We Rab McTavish.
I am going to run to the captain's cabin. Is that fore or aft, Rich?
Four.
I am going to target the nearest mob and cast Frostbite on it.
Alrighty then. You can do that.
Disadvantage, is it?
It should do it automatically because they've got the invisible. They've got the invisible. Right, it fails its save, so you can do your frostbite damage. Big hits there. Right, it does a little bit of damage. It fails a little chill. It goes, ooh, as a chill runs down its back. Is that your turn?
Yeah, it's also got disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll.
Okay, Kalash.
I will dash. Bonnie, move me up. Can I get in
your
this
bonus
room
action?
Yeah.
You can move through Wee Rab, but you can't end.
Move there.
Yeah, you can't end your turn in the same square. Right,
that's as close as I can get.
Right. No, you. Then you are out of range, comrade.
Then I should shoot my crossbow.
Ooh, it's
Aha!
Crossbow time.
I need to target this.
Are you doing targeting and stuff?
I'm living the dream. Crossbow light. Die. Didn't roll with disadvantage.
Why?
I do have a target. I'll roll it again.
No. Yeah. Roll again. I will.
My crossbow just goes plunk and
Your
breaks.
crossbow just ignores it. It's because let me just. Invisible starters do not by default have the invisible tag. That is why. That is silly of them, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. So now they're invisible.
I missed anyway. I'll drop my crossbow and
Bless
start
you.
pulling my daggers out.
Right. Your captain is attempting to break grapple. So I need to. He hasn't got a grapple effect on. Well, that is inconvenient. Right, so he is fighting for his life for this turn. We will try a grapple check for this one. Right, so he has been grappled and it's criticaled. Ouch. Okay, that's that one done. Next one gets 2 attacks. Yeah. So I will roll me some attacks as the second beast focuses attacks on the captain.
That's disadvantage.
It's grappled, so he might get advantage as well. Ooh. Yeah, that misses. Is it disadvantage for the all attacks or just the next attack?
It says, on a fail save, the target takes 1d6 cold damage and has disadvantage on the next weapon attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn.
Yeah, so it misses with the first attack, it hits with the second. Next up we have Rick. Rick, my friend.
Question. There's 3 ARG monsters, one of them being on our side.
Yes.
Is that purposeful?
Yeah, because he's unidentified. That's what it... That's what it calls them when they're unidentified.
Okay, right. So I don't know if I can do my plan, but I am going to attempt. So I'm going to walk up to the door. I can't get any further, can I? Because we Rab's in the way.
You can, as long as you can move in and to the right. If you've got enough movement, you have. You can move through somebody, but you can't end your turn in the same square.
Can I move up to there? Is that legal?
No, because Earl's there.
Is he?
You can move down there.
Oh, right. It wasn't on my map, sorry.
So everybody's kind of crushing their way in.
Yeah, okay. Will I be 10 foot? Right. I haven't. Annoyingly, I do have a spell that actually allows to avoid invisibility, but I think we'd all get damaged by it if anybody walked into it. So it's a very silly thing to do in these close.
Why is nobody cast Wall of Fire? That's all I'm saying.
Because I don't have it. I do have something that might.
Casting on a boat seems quite dangerous because them sort of wooden-y.
Yeah. Right. I am going to see. I don't know if this will work, but I am going.
You're a warlock, can you not just Eldritch Blast everything? Pew, pew, pew,
Well,
pew,
I could,
pew, pew.
but I don't. I can't see them, can I?
No, you're a disadvantage. Everybody's at disadvantage with them anyway. You know where they are now, but you're still at disadvantage.
Things like. Oh, hang on. Disadvantage. Would that not ignore that then? No, that you can see. Right. I was looking at whether or not the wand of pyrotechnics might have illuminated them for everybody else. I was also wondering, I would like to potentially, before I actually waste my turn doing this, if possible, I was wondering if I could roll Arcana to see if I would know if it would work, if I could use Prestidigitation to make a small mark or colour appear on an object or surface. So basically kind of wave over towards where we know that there's a being and kind of make a bit of a splodge or something.
It wouldn't affect the disadvantage because you know where they are, so it would just be like a bobbing splodge, but you can't actually make out the form, so they could be dodging out the way, if you know what I mean.
Yep, fine. In which case, yes, I will just Eldritch Blast them.
I think you should fairy fire, Dave, and then everybody gets fairy fired.
No, I was just thinking, if only I had a handful of flour, I could put it in the air and see where it settled.
I'd thought that's what I was looking for. Actually, if they'd been outside, I was going to use shape water to colour the water that was on them.
That's it. So that would be a damn good plan.
But unfortunately, they're not outside.
Yeah. Go, Gadget Rick. Shoot some Eldritch Blasts.
I will do. No.
I'll
do it again. Damn invisible bastards! I'll shout.
Yeah. Pew, pew! There's like bolts of energy just narrowly miss your ears, Shash, as Rick randomly fires. Etigal, back to you.
Right. For my bonus action, I'm going to use my steady aim. Which means normally for steady aim, it says basically I can't move anywhere. And to use it, it gives me advantage on the next attack roll. So presumably that would cancel out the disadvantage.
Yeah, you would just take advantage. Steady aim, isn't that with arrows?
Nope. It's third level rogue feature. As a bonus action, you give yourself advantage.
Yeah, doesn't say anything about just says next attack. So yeah, so click advantage and then stab it.
Radio.
And if I'd known you had that, I could have coded it for you to do it the same way as your thingy attack. But we'll do that next time. Yeah, you get your sneak attack damage. Oh, it's a hit. It's a big stabby. Ooh, yeah, big stabby. Nice one. That's your turn, Shash.
My turn.
Shash slashes away at the invisible monster. Doesn't even say words, just starts hacking. Why speak when you can roll d20s? Isn't that right, Shash? Hits. Right, you slay the beast. It dies, screams and dissipates.
And I'll target the other one and hit it with my bonus attack if I can.
Probably. I would imagine.
Can I move and then hit it with a bonus attack?
You can. You can split your movement and your actions up in any way you like, I believe.
Right. Bless you.
That invisible starter's got a nasty cold. Right, you miss after all that, Dave. Right, Gagoth the Crow, let's see how your axe handles invisible stalkers. As you begin to move, Gagoth, there's a great long booming peal of thunder. Your turn.
Go to there.
Yep. So you run in. You can see the captain pinned against the back wall by a invisible stalker.
Yeah.
The thing is, you see, they say, the monsters has this stat block, but it doesn't necessarily have the right token for the mob. So that's why you get random tokens for things. And then what do? You
Go
rage.
into rage. Attack recklessly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mm.
Oh, a 30. I think that hits.
Look at that.
Look at all of those dices. Bam! 22 damage. It bites in, it hurts. Second attack.
Yeah.
23. Yeah, that also hits. I don't think you've got it targeted, mind.
Yeah, neither do I.
That's why it didn't roll the doobly-doo.
The doobly-doo?
Yeah, the doobly-doo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would have done automatic. Right, yeah, it comes in. 2 big slashes with his battle axe. A 30 to hit, man. There's just no need. Go on. A 1's your personal best because you didn't have a target. So you slash at it, doing quite a bit of damage. Is there anything else you want to do?
No.
All right. We are McTavish.
I'm going to move to there.
I know.
And I'm going to cast Shillelagh.
Shillelagh, right? Shillelagh that.
And then crack it.
You're going to welly at one. Go on then. Gain, son. Oh, that's a bad miss.
I'll whack myself on the shin.
Oh, that's a bad miss.
Yeah, that was a very useful round from you. Kilash.
I will move forward and stab it.
And stab the crap out of it with your dagger of stabbiness.
I will stab it with my dagger of stabbiness, and then if it's still alive, hit it with my mace of hittiness.
Okay, go on then.
I need to mark disadvantage, or will it do it itself?
It'll do itself, but don't forget to turn your sneak attack on, otherwise you won't get it. Oh, you hit, but drop the crit. Bang, goes in the damage. Big hits, and then you smash it with your mace. Miss. Captain attempts to break grapple as he's being choked against the wall. Failed to break grapple, so he basically struggles and gags and chokes. Right, this thing beats the crap out of them then because he's been held and beaten upon. Bash. Hits. Hits again. Right, the captain is bleeding heavily, choking. Looks like he's close to passing out. Rick.
Right. Just the one left that happens to be the one that's still targeted. No one's fairy fired him, have they?
No.
Right. Well, in which case, I will just have to try again. Aha.
Nice one. Pew. Go Iron Man.
That one fails.
Yeah.
Bloody invisible things, even when you're in a box.
Right, new round, ethical again.
I shall move forward 1, and I'm still targeting said beastie. So
yeah, what it seems to be is the a race in time against you versus the captain.
Aye. So is this going to be a disadvantage?
It should do it automatically.
Oh, okay.
Aye, it's a hit. It's a good one. See, we're all Scottish now. Boom. Nasty. Yeah, big hits. Big hits.
And I'll offhand it with my other sword. Or maybe not.
All right. Shash Elian. The captain's eyes are bulging and he's turning blue.
We're killing it as fast as we can.
Aye, you slash it. You slash it again and miss. Are you using the speed function? You are, and you miss again. Sorry, Dave. Right, Gagoth again. Shashelian flails about ineffectually. What are you doing? I'm guessing you're just beating everything about the head with a big axe.
Continuing reckless attack.
Aye, it's a hit. God, I have gone really Scottish tonight, haven't I? That's better. Slash. And another one.
Another attack.
Yeah, so many attacks. Hits again. Yeah, nice. Big hits. Bang, bang. Beast is critically injured. It may go down.
And push for frenzy. There's a bonus yet?
I'm not sure. What does frenzy do? That's an extra attack, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, my friend. 26, yeah. 3 big hits. That's how... Right, you kill the beast. How do you put it down, Gagoth? That's how a barbarian's supposed to hit things.
Start slicing up and then slice down. As we start meeting resistance coming up, slice down.
Yeah, so you slash through it. What you assume will be a humanoid, and the forces dissipate on the floor, so you've got no resistance. But the captain falls to his knees, coughs and chokes, but is not dead. He says, "Thank you, lads. Thank you." He says, "That was close. Somebody sent assassins. Actually, that seemed almost too easy." Just as that, you hear the crash of thunder and
there's a storm coming.
A storm currents. Lightning and thunder suddenly crack at the dark sky as heavy rain pours down from above. You hear cries from outside. "Hurricane! All hands on deck! All hands on deck!" "Shit," says the captain. "Heave to, lads."
We better get moving.
So what do you do?
Dash out on deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you all dash out on deck.
Right
took
next to the lifeboat.
Sorry, what was that?
Right next to the lifeboat.
Okay, throw young captain hail. Right, so you throw the captain hail. He coughs and he looks better and he says, "Thanks, that's much better, lads. We need to see to this storm." He runs out on deck. Horrifyingly, there's a great wall of water and wind heading right towards you. Sailors run about. The winds are whipping loose ropes and rigging. You can hear below some of the crates are rolling about. The guy on the wheel is desperately clinging on, trying to steer the ship, but it's appearing to be very difficult for him. What does Ace want to do?
Can I help the steersman?
Yeah, so Shashelian, you run up onto the deck and grab hold of the wheel with him. Can you please make me a DC 15 dexterity check? As you grasp the wheel, it's almost torn from his grip. The ship suddenly whips to the right. There's a splintering of wood, and the ship lurches as the wheel spins freely. And he says, "The boards, they're cracking." And the DM gets his pen and starts writing numbers down. Shash. Right. That's what Shash is doing. What else are you doing?
Going to the back of the ship and trying to help with the wheel.
I'll head up to the foredeck and start acting as lookout.
Okay. So you run forward. There isn't really enough space for you to get in and help with the wheel because there's two on the wheel already.
I will go and stand at the edge of the boat on this side if I can, and keep an eye out at holding an Eldritch Blast if I see something coming at us that needs smashing.
Okay. Earl, can you make me an intelligence check, please? Gorgoth, you go to run up to the wheel, but like Shasta's standing on one side pulling, and the navigator's on the other side pulling, so there doesn't seem to be any space that you get in.
I am all of the smirts.
Yeah. You shout, "Wave!" And just at that moment, Shash and the navigator grab the wheel and they just managed to turn it aside, narrowly avoiding a wave that would have swept over the bow. Gorgoth, do you want to do anything different, or do you want to push either Shash or the navigator out of the way?
Shash.
Right, Shash, Gorgoth runs up and goes, "Get out of the way, let me do it." Can you make a strength check, please, as you shove Shash out of the way and grab at the wheel?
Who makes a strength check, me or him?
Gorgoth, because he's trying to right the wheel. Yeah, because you get advantage. That's a 19. Yeah, you easily grasp the wheel and twist it round, and the ship stops lurching everywhere. Right, that leaves Rick, who's standing ready in an Eldritch Blast, Edigal, and Weerab.
Right, I would like to climb into the lifeboat.
Yeah.
And hide.
And tie myself to it.
You tie yourself to the lifeboat. Okay.
Yep.
Counts as a fail.
So if it goes over the side, so do I.
Yeah, that counts as a fail. Weerab.
I'm going to shadow the captain as a bodyguard just in case somebody else tries to attack him.
Yeah, the captain runs out on deck.
Just follow the captain.
The captain runs out on deck. Where has the cap? Oh, where has all the captains gone? Where has the captain gone? There he is. Right, so he runs out on deck, starts shouting orders, and you just stand next to him. Yeah, that's another fail. Right, so you do not help the ship at all. Right, so there's a great crack of lightning, and it comes down and splits part of the front mast away. Rigging falls to the deck. The ship lurches and then crashes straight into a wave, and then there's a crack And one of the sailors shouts, she's hauled, we're taking on water. Because everybody did not help. Right, so as you manage to get into the eye of the storm and suddenly everything becomes calm. And then, as soon as it began, the ship calms, goes through the other side. You wince, bracing as you get ready to go straight into the storm. But the sky suddenly becomes clear and sunny. The rain stops, revealing two nearby ships. The smaller vessel, a longship, rows quickly towards you, its crew chanting in prayer. The larger vessel, a warship armed with ballista and catapults, has a large crow painted on its sails. The officers of your vessel cry, "Ship Renthor! Battle stations!" The captain looks at you and says, "Well, I hope you're ready for a fight, lads."
Well, at least that's something we can actually do.
Right, well,
I'm always ready for a fight.
The ship starts at 400 feet away from you. It's going to take several rounds to reach you. Somebody calculated all of the siege weapon fire yesterday for 2 hours and how many rounds it would take to get close enough. So, we don't have to do this round by round. Do you want to do anything to prepare in the time that it takes for the ships to close while I describe what happens, or do you want to do something round by round?
You can just describe what happens, but I was going to say, would it be a good idea for us to counterboard it? Like, when they come to board us, we'll go straight across and start burning their ship.
I was going to start burning their ship as soon as it gets in the range.
Good lad.
Right, so we're starting at 400 feet. The captain shouts to the crew, "Stand to, party one," right? And then it's obvious to everybody he does those hand signals. And around 20 of the crew run to the front of the ship and then crouch down behind the railing so that they're out of sight, all along the front of the ship, all along here and all along here.
It's a bit weird.
Right. The Ice and Death and the Twinkle, you look across to the Twinkle is doing the same thing. The ships come either side of each other. The first round, they all power towards each other head on. There's an exchange of siege weapon fire, and the longship is hit by a mangonel boulder and a ballista. Several of the crew go flying off. The Twinkle is hit by a mangonel. I need everybody to please roll a DC 10 deck save as this giant boulder comes in and crashes across the deck.
We're not on the Twinkle.
Sorry, the Ice and Death, yeah. The Ice and Death's hit by a mangonel.
DC 12 dexterity.
A DC 10 dexterity check.
Oops.
Right, so this boulder crashes down through the front. It bowls 3 of the crew off over the front. It hits Rick and it hits Rab. And then does nothing. That was unusual. Right, you take 33 points of damage as this boulder bounces off you. Rick goes, me as usual. Ow. Everybody else other than Wee Rab and Rick gets out of the way.
Bloody boulders coming from the sky now.
Right, the ship's closed. There's another volley. The longship takes more damage. Crew shouts, spouting off either side, and several missiles land upon the Twinkle. You're now at 295 range. If you get to a range that you want to act on, then please tell us.
Can I start shooting arrows at the the enemies who's manning the ballistas and catapult?
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Yeah, so you start opening fire at 295 range.
I asked the captain how much water he thinks it would take to sink the smaller ship.
How much water it would take? Quite a lot. It's a long ship. It's like 100 feet long or so.
I'm just going to shout at the captain, can none of this magic fancy do anything?
He says, it's not that kind of magic, lad. I see you've noticed there.
Well, I'm knee blind.
I'm just wondering if... Sorry.
No, he's back on the ship, so he can't show you anything, really. A tidal wave. Right, Dave, roll your attacks as you start shooting.
Yeah, it's 30 foot long, 10 foot wide, and 10 foot tall. That's a lot of water.
That is a lot of water, yeah. Right, Dave, you nail one of the guys crewing the ballista.
How many shots do I get?
2. You're getting your normal shots as you twang, twang, twang. Yeah, what's the range on tidal wave, Bracey?
120.
Yeah, it's out of range at the moment. Right, so you bang 2 of them, and the ballista crew fall silent. The others rush to take their place, but you've taken them out for now. Round 3. All of the mangonels and ballistiers mist that go flying over your head. The ship then closes to 195 feet, and there's a great crash as the Ice and Death scores a critical and blows a hole through the hull with a mangonel boulder, and about 20 crew of the enemy ship goes overhead. And then you get to...
Any officers on the enemy ship obvious?
No, they're not obvious. The longship's crewed by rowers, and the other ship... both of your ships are equipped with naval rams, and one of the enemy ships is equipped with a naval ram. Everybody seems to be going head on at full, not at full speed because it's keeping pace with the longship. However, as the range closes to 105 feet, there's a great flurry of missiles from the Twinkling Ice and Death. They manage to almost completely strike the longship, which cracks almost completely in two and starts sinking with all crew. Right, what was that, Darren? You're at 105 feet.
Yeah, I was just going to start Eldritch Blasting, but it's already been destroyed.
Right, a figure dressed in plate mail leaps free from the longship and lands on the water and begins running towards you. You notice that you can shoot him. You notice that the ships are flying red flags. I don't know if you know what that means. If not, you can give me a history check.
It'd probably piratey.
15?
15's good enough. Ethical's good. Rick's good. Raising a red flag means no quarter.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Because the longship is now starting to sink and the other guy is running towards you.
Over the water,
on the surface of the water, the enemy ship increases to ramming speed, and it looks like...
Rich, can I shoot the enemy helmsman?
You can. It looks like there's going to be a head-on collision between the Ice and Death and the enemy warship. It all looks horrible.
Good shot, Dave.
I critical hit the helmsman.
Nice. Right, you critical hit the helmsman, and he drops. Andy is shooting at the... Hang on, I need to put the enemy on the combat tracker.
Yeah, I plan on shooting at the enemy once we can.
Divine Contention. That's the bugger there. It's all gone horribly wrong because the map is not playing. Fuck. It's alright, I can sort this. No, it won't let us move this bloody thing. Right. Anyway, he's 105 feet away. The warship increases to flank speed.
Dispel magic.
What on?
Oh, that's cruel.
On the bloke running across the water. I wish I had it.
Oh, I've got it.
How heavy is that armour?
Well, he's wearing plate and he's running away. Let me say he's 105 feet away. So
he's running away from you.
He's running towards you, sorry.
Right, can I attempt to do that?
Dispel magic, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So 120 feet. On the chap, the War Priest, choose any creature, object, or any spell of third or lower level ends. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of fourth level or higher, it's fourth level. You automatically end the effects of a spell on the target if the spells. So if it's fourth or less, basically. If not, make an ability check.
Yeah, it's lower than fourth level. Walk.
Lower than fourth.
Yeah.
Well, I've cancelled it then.
Right, so he runs towards you with one walking on. Rick just stands up. Go on, describe how you do this.
And he points at him and just goes, "No thanks." And the magic dissipates.
Right. For just a second, he looks shocked and confused as his foot goes down, and where he was walking on the surface of the water, his foot goes straight to the water. There's a bloop noise as he disappears in his heavy plate mail armour and begins to sink beneath the waves. He has walking water. He doesn't have any kind of breathing spell, so I guess
that's a very good call. I'll
now
shout over to Kalash.
I guess that's now drowning.
Always look for your enemies.
Right, the enemy's ship is now 50 feet away at flank speed. It looks like collision's imminent. The captain shouts, "Now, all of the crew that were standing at the front of both boats stand up," and globes of darkness entirely obliterate the deck of the enemy ship. The captain says, "Brace!" and then the whaleman spins the wheel as fast as he can. The Twinkle and the Ice and Death head off to port and starboard. Can everybody please make a DC 10 dexterity check?
Can I have advantage because I'm stuck to the lifeboat?
You can, yes. If you get a 1, you go off the side.
I actually made it.
I didn't.
Right, so Etigal falls prone, but you fall prone in the lifeboat. Wee Rab falls over and rolls across the deck. The rest of you manage to grab onto something as the two ships violently swing to port and starboard. The enemy warship that is approaching, is literally peppered with darkness so that nobody can see anything. And it goes straight ahead between the two of them. The other two ships then swing inwards, digging the naval rams into either side of the ship. And it grinds to a halt, pinned between them. There's a bunch of enemy sailors on the deck. The captain shouts, "Now!" And then there's like 20 fairy fires go off on the deck of the ship.
Straight across with me knife.
And all you hear is a lot of confusion. And can you see that enemy ship on the map?
The main deck one at the bottom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the enemy ship, which is now impaled between two rams.
I'm getting on there now.
Right,
So,
make an athletics check.
Can I just ask you, it's totally dark, but they're all outlined in fairy fire.
Yes, but you can't see it. However, it cancels out the disadvantage for the darkness.
Cool. What do I need to do, say, Rich? Athletics.
Yeah, make an athletics check. DC 10 as you run forward and dive onto the deck.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm doing the full I am. It's like, oh my God, they created a killing field.
Right, you leap across and land on the deck of the enemy ship.
I shall untie myself
getting stabbed.
and go with Kalash.
Right, Andy unties himself, runs forward, rolls an 8, and goes, "I'll follow it," and dives, and then sort of goes splosh into the water between the two ships.
I will.
So the deck of the ship, right, the back half is covered in darkness because obviously the darkness is a fixed point, so it's come out of the globe of darkness, but they couldn't see the maneuver. The captain shouts, "Raise the crystal," right? There's a cranking noise from behind you, and this large crystal comes up through one of the hatches. Immediately, all of the illusions are dispelled, all of the running effects dispelled, and you see around you 80 drow warriors. The captain's a drow. The darkness blinks out on the ship, on the front half of the ship. Somebody tries to cast a spell on the enemy ship, onto your ship, which just fizzles. Right, so Etigal's splashed into the water, Earl's leaped onto the deck of the ship. What about the rest of you?
I'm swimming back to our ship and climbing back aboard, hopefully.
15. I was going to attempt to run on the ship as well, or jump over.
So you run along and dive onto the prow.
Aye.
Wait a minute.
I'm a bit worried that magic might just... Is that like a massive dispelling crystal or something?
No, I'm paddling about.
Yeah, Andy paddles about. Rick, Gorgoth, Weerab, Shashilian.
I help Andy get back onto our ship.
Thank you, Shash.
Right,
Sorry, Rich, is the Drow Warriors on our ship or the enemy ship?
on your ship. They're all along the front of the deck.
Okay, right, sorry. I was,
They battered the enemy ship with darkness so that it couldn't see where they were going, so that it could swing to the sides and then impale it between two rams. It's almost like this crew is a bunch of badasses.
Are we bothered about taking the ship alive, lads, or not?
You shout in the midst of battle. Right, Gorgoth, what are you doing while Weelrab's shouting? Because he's standing to shout. Stop standing to
Jump
shout.
onto the other ship.
Right, so you run forward, great strides, boom, 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 make an athletics check.
Well, I should only get one of those. It's still holding my rage.
Yeah.
Which I can't seem to descend.
Right, you leap onto the enemy ship. Right, they run forward, fanaticism in their eyes. Shash?
Have I got Andy up yet?
Yeah, you help Andy back onto the ship, wet and slightly embarrassed.
Can I target the enemy? Well, I can't see them.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Right, so you shoot one, you realise that these are just normal commoner types. They're not any particular danger to you. As you shoot one and it goes straight through his throat and he gurgles and drops to the floor. So what I need from you guys now is some because you now have 80 drow warriors, and you lot. What we want is some major badassery describing how you clean the decks of these ships.
Well, I shout back over to Wayrab. I think the drow have got it while wringing the corner of me cloak out.
I'm going to stalk along this ship and slit the throat and bash the brains in of anything that gets within 5 feet of me, while being as terrifying as possible while doing it. Really enjoying my work today.
Right. So as you clean forward, Earl, you take about 10 points of damage from slashes or cuts. You work from the front of the ship to the back, slashing, throwing people overboard, and dropping them.
Biting noses off.
Yeah. Whereabouts do you head to?
I'm heading straight for the back of the ship. I'm going from the front castle to the rear castle.
Right. So you head straight, like cutting a swathe through the back of the ship.
Yep.
Goth, what? Is it Goth? Goth or Gurgoth?
Big G.
That'll do.
A big G. What do you do on this ship?
Downstairs.
Because somebody managed to destroy the enemy bad guy who's supposed to be the big fight with dispel magic. Rick.
It wasn't my idea, but it was a bloody good idea.
Yeah, so, right, Goth, what do you do?
Downstairs, kick in the doors to the forecastle, kill anything that moves.
Yeah, so two pirates. Two pirates bar your way. You slash one down easily enough with the first one, and then you headbutt the second one, and he goes down. You kick the front doors open. There's a couple of crew members inside, and you set about those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick.
When I kick in the door, my absolutely best predator roar, and then go and kill them all.
Yeah, so there's a great roar, shakes the very decking of the ship as Goth hacks his way through where there's like 40 level 1 guys. So
I would like to know if that crystal would dispel my magic.
It dispels all current effects.
So I can't even manifest a weapon right now. So I only have my bare hands. But that's fine. I'll walk up to the nearest one, headbutt them, and then put my fingers in his eye sockets, and then hoy him overboard.
And hoy him overboard screaming. Awesome.
Yeah, go and join your captain, you bastard.
Right. So, Rab.
I try not to get really annoyed because my master plan has got completely out the window now.
Hey, don't blame me. The captain says, it looks like they're handling it. Shall I lower the crystal? He shouts, "Lower the crystal, lads! We seem to have got it." And as he lowers the crystal down, clunk, 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 and the hatch shuts, all of the sailors turn back from Jow into the handsome devils that they were. So does the captain. Rick, your weapon appears in your hands.
Oh, nice.
What do you do now, Rab?
I'm going to go over just in case.
Right, so you swing. This is the scene in a movie where the two ships are side by side. People are swinging across and diving out, and you're like, "I'll just go over." Rab casually walks over. Are you going to make a DC 10 athletics roll there, Rab?
Okay, hang on.
Right, he jumps over. He lands on the rail. He windmills his arms about. He rocks backwards. He rocks forwards. It looks like he's about to plummet in the water, and then he just
check.
He steps forward. He steps forward onto the deck. Carnage greets you. Gorgoth is roaring down the front of the ship. You just see bodies being hurled bodily overboard, arms and legs being hacked off. Rick is holding people up out and throwing them off the side. And Kalash is just a bloody whirlwind at the back.
I'm singing the killing song.
He's singing the killing song. Right, Shash and Ertigal, do you want to get in this action before the decks are cleared, as it were?
Yeah, I'll swing across.
Go on, make an athletics check. You swing, you grab hold of a loose rope, you swing across. Yeah, like Errol Flynn and very yourself, the dread pirate Shash Elliot swings across, followed by Ertigal. So what kind of carnage do you reap upon the deck of this ship?
A most bloody and terrible one.
What I said.
Yeah, so you run about. In general, it takes 5 or 6 minutes of bloody carnage. The drow sailors let out a big cry, for you now know them to be drow. They leap across, and swiftly the crew and yourselves clean up the deck. The ship is yours.
Oh, thank you very much. Put in my pocket.
The captain lets out a booming laugh, and he says, "Well, lads, I guess you know the secret now, but it's been nice to fight alongside yous."
It wasn't but very much of a secret. It's just, it was very unlikely that there was an entire crew of drow. It's just not your usual raison d'etre. But I have to admit, impressed.
He says, the person that we work for is enhancing his interests in the surface world. It's part of the reason we've been told to get you to Neverwinter to plead the case with the Lord.
Does he have a capital J in the beginning of his name?
He lets out a laugh and says, perhaps.
Very well.
He says, what do we do with the ship then? Do we scuttle her or do we take her back?
Into Leilon. She might be used in its defence.
An excellent plan. I'll split the crew, and he does the hand signals across to the other crew. The set a prize crew on the ship, and it's less than a day. You sail back into Leilon, the victorious heroes. Once more, you gain 1,500 gold pieces, and you have successfully negotiated a treaty, a troop transport with Neverwinter. 1,505. Shall I just share that reward out for you now?
Captain, what is your name?
Yeah.
Before we sail off with this boat, which and the crew on, we have a quick whip around the captain's cabin and have a search for anything valuable.
I'm not against an 80 drow.
No, the captain of the ship.
Right, that makes sense.
Right, it is just a ship decked out for war. You find some miscellaneously, you find like food and water and things like that, but it seems like this whole reason it was sent out was for just to kill you guys, and any treasures he might have had upon him is probably somewhere at the bottom of the ocean now.
Har har.
Hardy, hardy, har. So yes.
One of these days, we're going to have to get a big rope with a magnet attached, and one where the tortoise disappeared, and the other one where he disappeared.
So I will proclaim, as we draw a veil upon tonight's proceeding, I'll proclaim the naval battle a great victory upon your side, and well done. And next week we shall continue the defence of Leilon.
I'm going to find out the captain's name and see what I have to do to learn drow hand signals, because that would be a really cool trick to know.
You want to learn drow hand signals. I did give you the captain's name.
Something fancy.
Oh, of course it was fancy.
Of course it was fancy. It was.
It is a fun technique, just dropping people into the ocean when they come to attack you.
Yeah. Well, when he was running across, I'm thinking, I wish I had Dispel Magic. And I thought, I'll just voice that in case someone else does.
I wish I had Dispel Magic right now.
Urgently.
Yeah.